Hi, Eric Cohen here, producer and co-host of CineFiles. Welcome. It's been a while since we've been online. We've been busy on hiatus doing all sorts of stuff. We are here at the New York City Comic Con. It's the first time we've ever done an episode from here. Although we've attended many times, Mike and I went to the very first one here at Jacob Javits Center about, several years ago.
When they had it relegated to one auditorium and realized it was the biggest fire hazard possible.
Right, it was shut down by the fire marshal, and we didn't even know that because we were already in the con, but apparently a lot of people weren't allowed in during that time. Big hullabaloo. We also have here Andre Joseph, who's joining us. Unfortunately, Jeff couldn't join us because he's working today, and I'm not sure about this, but I think he's partially responsible for why I was late to the Comic-Con today because the trains aren't running like they should be.
I'm taking a token black man spot.
He's taking a token black man spot. Oh, Mike's full name is Michael Foltz, Esquire. Sorry, I didn't get it all out there. Anyway, so here we are at New York Comic Con. You guys have already spent a little bit of time on the floor. Not a lot, but you managed to get a taste of what's going on down there. Was it crowded? Did it seem overwhelming?
It was very much as I expected to be, just overwhelming. You know, it's like traffic jams in every aisle. And a lot of cosplay, a lot of nerds, a lot of fans.
I see a TARDIS down there.
Is it a TARDIS? Is it a TARDIS costume?
It is a TARDIS costume, and it doesn't look like it'd be much fun to walk around in.
Yeah, well,
A lot of classic toys.
those brave souls.
I saw the find so far at the Comic-Con is a Batman and DC superheroes playset from 1966
Wow.
that is right now on sale for $25,000.
Now, these are like the doll size?
No, like little plastic
Oh,
figures
no, they're
that I've
modeled after.
that I've never seen before, and it's the most fascinating thing in the world. Original box,
The original box.
everything original, $25,000.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting over a cold. And I'm at Comic-Con. So today's topic...
As long as it's in Ebola.
Too soon, it's too soon.
Today's topic is suitable to the scenario that we are currently finding ourselves in. We're going to talk about this whole trend of universe building that all the studios are into, made popular by Marvel/Disney. Now, Sony's in on the game with the Spiderman movies. DC and Warner's is doing it with, Justice League and Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, or whatever the hell that's going to be called, right? We don't even know if that's
Dawn
what's
of
going to
Just Ass.
Yes, yeah, there you go. Who else is in it? Oh, Universal's going to do a universe building of their monster properties. So I guess it's just a discussion about what do we think of this? Do we like it? Do we like the idea of this trend? Do we think it's going to sort of implode? And
Let's be honest. Unless the first movie that they view will be the keystone in setting it off, like Universal and Dracula and Bound, or Warner's Batman versus Superman. If these don't make money, those universes fall apart.
Right. Well, and we were talking about this earlier. None of this would be happening if Iron Man and Thor weren't successful, right? Followed by the time they put Captain America into production, they already knew there was going to be an Avengers movie, but they didn't know that when they first started making Thor. That they didn't know where they're going to go with that. So the point is, when Marvel developed their universe, they took their time developing it and figuring out where it was going to go and what the animal would be up to this point that we're at right now. Whereas everybody else was jumping on a bandwagon, oh, we want to do this too. And then DC went out there and immediately announced that. I should say Warner went out there and immediately announced right after Man of Steel, we're going to do Man of Steel 2, we're going to do Batman versus Superman, we're going to do a Justice League movie. Then it got confusing where we weren't sure, okay, wait, is the next one going to be Batman versus Superman, or is it going to be Justice League movie? Because they kept saying all these characters are going to appear in it. And then they really muddled the whole PR on that. They made this whole references to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, which it turned out, no, it's not exactly going to be that. And everyone was so confused. And then they announced this chicken race between what might be Justice League, what might be Batman versus Superman, what might be Man of Steel 2 going up against Captain America 3 in the same release dates. And apparently they blinked and they're no longer releasing their film on that date and decided to push production a little bit. I guess they realized too much too soon, which was smart. But still, can they succeed at what Marvel's doing right now?
You have to have a well thought out game plan. And you also have to have somebody that has an eye on the bigger prize. Seems like Kevin Feige has that particular eye, that he can spot talent and he can put something together. Sure, it was the perfect storm. Robert Downey Jr. going into Iron Man, which everybody thought was kind of off-key casting, but it could work. It worked in spades. It rebooted Robert Downey Jr.'s career.
Favreau did a great job directing it.
John Favreau did great. I mean, everybody in it. Gwyneth Paltrow was not annoying.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah. So, like I said, it was the perfect storm. And then you had...
Jeff Bridges was suitably adorable.
And you had the perfect storm that created this. So then you got good people in charge and then had them go from there. Now, I feel that Warner's kind of wasted their opportunity a few times because you had great success with Nolan's Batmans, that you could have done something.
Right.
But Nolan's Batman stood alone. It's like X-Men and Fox. Those X-Men stand alone.
Exactly.
Now they're trying to build the X-Men world, especially with the success of the Wolverine and Days of Future Past. So that is a self-contained world, but it's a world nonetheless. And it's the moneymaker for Fox. On the other hand, Sony has not done so well with the Spider-Man franchise once Raimi's been off of it. So, in an attempt to build a world, and I know that the talk is out there of Sony partnering with Disney to bring Spider-Man into the world of the Avengers, and it's a smart move on their part because right now Sony is floundering.
That's a rumor. We don't know that's a fact.
Right.
And the only reason why that's come up, it would be smart, but the only reason why it's come up is because Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't as successful as they hoped it would be fiscally, nor was it good creatively.
I don't even know if Amazing Spider-Man was a blockbuster.
I think it did well enough.
I just had the issue of, and this is a larger issue, I think, even with what DC needs to do, and that is they look at Marvel, and like say with Spider-Man, they looked at The Dark Knight, and just the dark, serious, realistic tone it had. So they took Amazing Spider-Man and said, okay, we're going to be dark and we're going to be serious.
But before Dark Knight, X-Men had the success by making a dark superhero film.
But Amazing Spider-Man 2 is completely antithetical.
They looked at the Avengers and said,
It's like
okay,
so
now we're going to
comic
set up
booky.
everything.
It's almost like the Batman and Robin of the Spider-Man movies. Not as bad, admittedly, as
Not to
Batman
that level,
and Robin.
but it's not focused.
But it's not focused. It's all over the place. And the script is terrible, I have to say. But I was going to say that. What about the other things like X-Men? They're doing their own self-contained universe thing. The whole idea is that Fox owns the rights to use mutant, the word mutant. So but they have shared rights to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So in the Marvel Disney property or franchises, they cannot be referred to as mutants. They can be referred to as special, or as at the end of miracles, right? So they can't use the word mutant, but they can use the same characters. Though Scarlet Witch didn't appear in the last X-Men. No, we saw her in stills, but apparently they cut that out.
Yeah, it was like an off-screen, like she's mentioned, but they don't really show her.
And so apparently they want to squeeze more blood out of X-Men now. They've sort of rebooted it by changing the past history.
Which I thought was a fantastic idea because they were
so Brett Ratner's.
Yes, if somebody put you in charge, Andre, and said it's going to be your responsibility for making sure X-Men 3 does not exist, you would be falling over yourself to get to the your pencil to rewrite the script, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, go to Chris Claremont's Days of Future Past comics and say, here's where we could go, where we could say, okay, we won't say that the first 3 movies had happened. We'll say that they existed. But now we're going to set up a storyline, so now that's the whole slate is wiped clean to start over.
That's hilarious.
And now, of course, you do Age of Apocalypse, where now you have the real X-Men that we've been waiting for.
Of course. Yeah, and we'll see how that pans out. Now, I guess this is leaving room for the new generation of X-Men players. It just remains to be seen. Will Michael Fassbender get bored enough that he won't do the next one or what after that? It's like in the last X-Men film, he wasn't as memorable to me or as strong as he was, and I have yet to see that. You know what? I know a lot of people really liked it. I thought it was okay.
Well, I'm very familiar with the comics since I was a fan of the X-Men when that originally came out.
I actually thought it was what's his name, who plays the younger Xavier.
James McAvoy.
James McAvoy really was, really brought, to this particular. Because in the last one, he was always playing sort of like a goody-goody means-well kind of character. In this one, he's a drunk rat and all sorts of shit. Yeah.
Plus, the X-Men universe is big enough to have a self-contained world. I don't know if Spider-Man is now. Speaking of self-contained worlds, I don't know if Universal is going to have any luck, creating their own universe with the monsters. They have these properties. They want to flesh out as much money. I don't know how many Wolfmans you can reboot.
Well, it depends. They go by. I mean, they've already done it like in the 40s and 50s, right? You had House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula,
And it culminated with an Abbott and Costello
Wolfman versus Frankenstein, right? Which was the best one of the entire series, believe it or not. It's actually a really good movie, Abbott and Costello's Frankenstein.
So what they could do is they have all the Universal monsters together and tie them together with a David Spade film.
Yes, Joe Dirt versus Dracula. I would not see that. That would not part me from my mind.
No, but Dracula Unbound, I think, has got quite a mountain to climb because it looks like the Lord of the Ringsification of Dracula.
There is
And it seems kind of lame.
There are already reviews out on that, right? Like they've already had press screenings. Dracula Unbound. We got Scott behind the camera, Scott Mendenko, who's known as Mascot. He's one of the contributors to thisisnthis.com, our website. He really does exist, people, and he really is behind the camera shaking his head at me, like he doesn't know what they're talking
And if
about.
you see him at Comic-Con, he has got a giant Doctor Who skirt on, but it also doubles as a bag. Universe building depends on the Keystone film to see if that sets the chain for everything else. Marvel's been successful. Will anybody else? Writer Grant Morrison, who I talked to one time at a signing of his book,
Oh yes, you like to bring this up every time you can bring it up on our show. Go ahead.
compares Marvel Studios to Hammer Studios.
In fact, I just watched our episode where you said that.
And he's right.
The Universal thing, it's just, I don't know. On one hand, I could see how they could sort of make it work, but I don't think in this day and age the idea of a series of movies surrounding Dracula, Frankenstein, plus they're rebooting Van Helsing for this, apparently.
Let me tell you something. Let me just throw this
Which is
out
one of
there.
the worst movies.
Okay, so you mentioned this rumor going around of Sony possibly teaming up with Marvel to bring Spider-Man into the Avengers universe because right now the ship is sinking on their Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. It's a mess.
They're talking about rebooting Andrew
Well-
Garfield Spider-Man in the Sinister Six.
And am I not mistaken, but after all the talk of Sinister Six, now they're not talking about it anymore? And they still doing a Sinister Six?
They say they are, and then they say they're going to throw Spider-Man in it to fight a greater threat. So you have to team up.
Galactus.
Galactus, right?
Spider-Man versus Galactus.
If they get the rights from Fox for Galactus.
Yeah.
Now, but here's what I say. Now, if I were the Galactus of all movie studios, here's the suggestion I would make. Why don't, if you're talking about studios teaming up, why don't you simply have Universal team up with Marvel and come out with Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night?
Yeah. That's actually.
Why am I the one coming up with this?
Yeah.
I'm broke.
Wasn't Blade a part of the Tomb of Dracula universe?
Technically, yeah.
But Dracula was never really mentioned.
No.
Well, until the third, but that was
what's his
such a-
name? Dominic Purcell.
Yeah, that was done. Werewolf by Night is going to be a much more
You're
successful
really
film.
obsessed and fixated over the Universal Monsters movie, just trying to figure out ways to sneak it into the
Well, being that this is the second time we've taped this particular episode, yes, it would appear that I am obsessed with this. But I'm trying to.
We had technical difficulties earlier, people.
But Marvel horror is something that you could really have a lot of fun with.
I think you could. It'd be awesome if, like, Hammer brought back their properties. They could have, like, a Universal monster thing meets the Hammer horror monster thing and tie it in with Marvel, Tomb of Dracula. And since, Amazing Spider-Man's on Fritz, you can make a deal with Amazing Spider-Man.
You're still on your cold medicine, aren't you?
I'm still in my cold medicine.
But I think, Hollywood, they're going to probably get a little absurd with the universe building in a number of genres. I mean, they're already talking about with Fast and Furious. Sony has a deal. They want to take Robin Hood and spin off every character into their own movie.
I think we should have a Jane Austen universe.
It's all about franchises.
Right.
It's all about money.
And then speaking of Disney, look at Star Wars. Now you got to spin off year after year with a Yoda movie, a Han Solo.
Yeah, they're doing a whole Star Wars universe building thing. You know,
Well, look,
Ryan Johnson's going to do his Ryan Johnson's
He's gonna do
the
8 and
second
9.
one. Yeah, he's going to do it. Yeah, that's right. I think
and then you've got on the Disney Channel, you've got a brand new Star Wars series.
Yep.
Animated series called Rebels. And this is because really Lucas didn't want to do anything more with Star Wars. So once Disney comes along and says, that's a cash cow,
Right.
let's buy up the rights and let's start giving something back to the
They have
fans.
Star Wars. They have Marvel. Can you see a little cross-universe pollinate in here? Marvel.
I see
I hope not.
oversaturation of the
Marvel and Star Wars.
marketplace.
Yeah.
The only thing they can do now next is merge with Walmart.
I see
and then
franchise
take over the
burnout
world.
hitting big time.
How about a reboot of the Star Wars Christmas special?
Yeah, but like good.
I'm not, by the way, I don't know about you guys, but I am not hopeful for Disney Star Wars. I'm not hopeful.
I like the cast a lot.
I'm not impressed.
Really?
Yeah, the guy from there is a really muscular guy walking
Adam
around
Driver?
with a fin hat. So that is completely that just not it just destroyed my train of thought completely.
You want me to go get him?
No.
But I know what you're saying with Star Wars because Lucas had a lot of say in the original trilogy, and as you know, polarizing as the prequels were, it was still his baby, it was still his property. But now Disney is throwing its ass into the mix, and clearly there's been the fights over the release date. There was a change in screenwriters, and J.J. Abrams. I have a love-hate relationship with J.J. Abrams.
So do I.
So do I.
So
do I. Although they're not pushing the mystery box too much this time, which is they're being a little more transparent, which I appreciate. Because God, I got sick of that bullshit. I understand that you don't want to spoil anything.
Well, you're also hoping that Lindelof the Ruiner is not going to be too involved because whatever he puts his touch on, immediately turns to shit. So I'm hoping that the Ruiner doesn't get a chance.
What's your problem with Lindelof?
Many things.
Okay.
I take garbage cans after I saw Pelly and the Leftovers.
I mean, technically, are we getting a Star Trek universe building thing as well? No. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Such a sequel just upon sequel.
The only trouble is you can only do that so much, and you're going to have to do something else because every time a Star Trek film is released, especially the first one garnered so many good reviews, so much goodwill, so much money. Then you turn around, and even though it made quite a bit of money, you really had a lackluster sequel.
Yeah.
That was a mess.
Yep.
And
Where do you think
that really hurts momentum a little bit?
Where do you think the Fantastic Four reboot is going to fall in with all of this? I mean, what? Who's behind that property? Who is that?
I think that's Fox.
Is that Fox? Okay. So they could technically show up
With the X-Men.
With the X-Men.
But that's it.
But they were saying before, there was a rumor now with the Deadpool movie being produced that he's going to merge with X-Men and Fantastic Four. So I don't know how that's going to play itself out.
That's very strange.
Because the whole idea of Fantastic Four is they want to go with the serious tone compared to the Tim Story films from the 2000s.
Well, they're saying that, a lot of, are saying, everyone's using the G word these days. Everything's grittier,
Did they not see Guardians of the Galaxy?
Did you just say Gruyere, like the cheese?
Yes, that's what I said. Grittier. Everything's grittier.
Because gritty works because jokey, a la Batman and Robin, Joel Schumacher, vomit test. That doesn't work.
Yeah, but
it makes the fans angry.
But the Avengers isn't gritty, right?
It has its
adventure
light and its
fun,
dark,
right?
It has, just like Guardians of the
Although
Galaxy.
Captain America
it has its
2
light and dark.
was grittier than Captain America 1. But I think it's an overused term. I think people misuse it.
Iron Man, not that gritty, but it had its light and its dark moments.
But the thing is, what's great about what Marvel does is the genres are not always exact. Maybe they're shot the same way, but Captain America Winter Soldier was a political film. Thor is pretty much their Lord of the Rings. Iron Man is their James Bond, Jack Ryan type franchise. So it always changes up, and then when we get to Avengers, It's like Ghostbusters, essentially. Not because I'm wearing the shirt.
That's the big joke of the week. If you watch our This Is Infamous poorly animated series, which really is poorly animated, I should know because I animated. There's a whole gag about how Dan Aykroyd says they should do like a Ghostbusters universe, right?
Dan,
What's the matter?
You fucked up the Blues Brothers with Blues Brothers 2000. Please stop. Look, Harold Ramis is gone. The franchise is.
Well, they're rebooting it anyway. Again, reboot.
Yeah, it's not going to
Another
have any
overused word.
reference to the earlier films, and I get that.
All
And
female Ghostbusters.
look, I think we got a lot of funny women out there. Paul Feig from Bridesmaids.
from Bridesmaids and Freaks and
No
Geeks.
relation to Kevin Feige.
No relation to Kevin Feige.
But my point is it could be funny, but if it's like all women and it goes into a Judd Apatow direction where it's not scary, it's supposed to be fart jokes, it's not going to work. Just let it go. It's over.
But where's the universe building in Ghostbusters? That's what I don't understand. What, do they have like a separate movie
Is it
about
Universal
Gozer?
building or is it rebooting?
It sounds
No,
like
he
it's a
said
hard
he
reboot.
wanted to do a universe. He wanted to do a universe building Ghostbusters universe thing. It's like, so what? You'd have a movie focusing on Gozer to Gozerian?
Yeah,
Like, you have I don't understand how that would work.
Vigo was,
Right.
a Carpathian before he was a ghost.
Yeah.
It could be stuff like that. It's just
Sort of like Dracula Unbound, but
yeah.
No,
But
like the
where's
Scorpion King.
the Scorpion
Where's the
King.
comedy in all this?
Well, The Rock will no longer be available. Rock, Black Adam.
Black Adam, yes.
Black Adam. I think that's an interesting choice.
I think it's a great choice.
Yeah.
What's the possibility they may have Nintendo movies again and do a universe building?
You really are big on the 80s, aren't you, my man?
I'm
you
afraid
you want
so.
80s canon films. Every single
I
canon
live
film
in
from
a
the 80s
shell
and
right
90s you
now.
want rebooted.
This was before the dark times.
You want to see another Super Mario movie.
before the Beaver.
Yeah.
Well, they aren't they doing another
Justin
He-Man
Bieber
movie or
concert?
something like that? Am I not mistaken? Are they trying to do a new He-Man movie? Am I not
Yeah,
mistaken?
there's a new He-Man movie in the works.
Right, a new He-Man movie.
It's just because there's a lot of
Skeletor
there's a
will
lot
rise
of
again.
like fan attention. There is a lot of fans for whether it's He-Man and the Master of the Universe or Thundercats. There's a built-in fan base. It's a large fan base, and if you can produce something that's not half-assed, that's halfway decent, it's going to be a moneymaker for you.
Right.
And what's the studio's risk? We take a property with a guaranteed fan base, and let's put something forward and create what we can do,
Yeah,
and not have Frank Langella as Skeletor.
Or you have like a
Frank
fan.
Langella's great as Skeletor.
Oh, He-Man. I mean Dolph. I mean He-Man.
We had a lot of fun with that though. But when you have like the
It was
fans directing these films, and I'm not talking about like just any random fan doing a fan movie, but like say Jon Favreau being a fan of Iron Man or Branagh with Thor, then it's like, okay, they're going to be faithful to the
Right.
source material versus Mark Campbell with Green Lantern. When did Mark Campbell ever read a Green Lantern comic?
Probably never.
It was somebody who just wasn't familiar with the
They're
product.
like,
And you can't do
he
that.
successfully rebooted James Bond, so let's give him Green Lantern. That's kind of what
He knows
Hollywood-
action.
Yeah.
He did Edge of
Anyway.
Darkness.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the character or the material, you're really throwing your money away. You have a chance of really throwing your money away.
That's like Roland Joff producing the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, that's the most bizarre.
The director of the mission.
Right, the director of the mission.
You can't see the
producing
parallels?
Super Mario, yeah. Crazy, man.
Come to think of it, I can't see the parallels.
So, anyways, that's pretty much our discussion on universe building, what's going on. We're in an appropriate milieu for that. We're at the New York Comic Con. Keep watching thisisinfamous.com because we're going to be uploading interviews. Andre Joseph, Michael Foltz. Check out our Twitter accounts. Check out our Facebook pages. Check out our Facebook group, and check out the CineFiles Facebook page. And of course, check out thisisinfamous.com. Support those guys. We have a lot of good writers contributing to that. You guys got anything you want to promote? Not promote? We care. Do you have a universe you're trying to build in your backyard? With your
I would
son?
love to be able to promote my Instagram account of just hot cosplay chicks, but unfortunately that's only in my head right now, and it's not out on
And
the
you
actual
never
site.
touch Instagram, knowing you. It's
I
like
said-
pulling tree.
I
teeth
said
and
it was
you
in my
tweet
head.
something.
I said it was in my head.
It was in your head. Is
In
that
my
where you're
head.
building the universe?
In my head.
Andre,
I'm not a regular squirrel, I'm a
universe?
flying
Anything?
squirrel.
There is a secret initiative, but it's going to have to allow a big Kickstarter campaign to be successful.
I think we should build a CineFiles universe. That's what I think we should do. We each have our own property.
In a way, we kind of have, because Unfinished Business is our spin-off.
Yeah, true. Jeff gets his own spin-off. And we're the CineFiles. Thank you for coming. I'll say it again. We're the CineFiles. Thank you for watching us. And stay tuned. The other news items popping up everywhere. Yeah. Bye. All right. I got to take a break. All right. So let's shut this cameras off. Wow.